Greetings, everybody. This is a presentation on radioprotective and advantageous properties of melanin by Noah Alcantara, yours truly, Novena Alcantara, Shaddai Alcantara, and Bryce Oates. For the class, Ida Educational Institute, school, and the class 2022 to 2023 Black Biochemistry. Teachers Baba Kessa and Mama Serafina. Here's our introduction. Here are the different topics in order of what we're going to be talking about in this presentation. The first one, does melanin block or absorb? Number 2, what is melanin? Number 3, previous radioactive incidents. 4, fungi and melanin's radioprotective properties. Number 5, frogs and melanin's radioadvantageous property. 6, sunscreens in relation to melanin. And finally, 7, our summary of all these points. I'll be passing this on to my teammate, Sister Novena.
Thank you, Noah. Before we get into our topic, we have to ask the question, what is melanin? Melanin is a biochemical polymer and is made up of 18 carbon, 10 hydrogen, 2 nitrogen, and 4 oxygen. One function of melanin is it is an energy transformer, and it can use this function to convert radiation, as is shown on the electromagnetic spectrum up on the screen, and convert this radiation into something beneficial for the organism it is in. However, some people have disagreed on the fact that melanin absorbs radiation and converts it into something beneficial. Next slide, please. Does melanin block or absorb? In 2007, there was a debate on whether or not melanin absorbs radiation or blocks it. 2 scientists who participated in this debate were Dr. Jennifer Reyes and Dr. Arturo Casadevall, with Dr. Jennifer Reyes saying that melanin acts as a blocker to radiation, and Dr. Arturo Casadevall saying that melanin absorbs radiation and weakens it till it is usable as chemical energy for the organism it is in, using the black fungi at the Chernobyl incident as an example. We agree with Dr. Arturo Casadevall, since melanin is an energy transformer. We will also show examples of melanin as an energy transformer from organisms using this function of melanin to their advantage in their environment, to people using this function of melanin indirectly. Next slide, please, and now I will pass it on to my teammate Bryce.
Thank you, Novena. On April 1986, Russia-Ukraine, the Chernobyl power plant went out of control during a test at low power, causing the power plant to explode, demolishing the reactor building, and releasing large amounts of radiation, causing radiation sickness. A few years after the incident, it was discovered that radiotrophic fungi was growing inside and around Chernobyl nuclear power plant, which was black due to melanin. The Fukushima incident is another radioactive incident that happened on March 11th, 2011 in Okuma, Fukushima, Japan. That started because of an earthquake which led to a powerful tsunami, destroying 3 power plants, causing radiation to be released into the atmosphere and into the ocean. After Fukushima ended, scientists was thinking about using radiotrophic fungi as a way to decontaminate radiation in the area. Next slide, please. How does radiation connect to melanin? Why were we brought here? We were brought here when we learned that the Chernobyl incident and how we were brought here when we learned about the Chernobyl incident and how pigmented fungi were thriving in the same area. How does radiation connect to melanin? Now the real discussion begins. How does radiation connect to melanin? Well, melanin can absorb radiation and turn it into a different kind of energy and transfer it into fungi. Next slide, please. Now I'll pass this to my partner, Shaddai.
Thank you, Bryce. So Chernobyl was discovered growing around decomposing graphite from a nuclear reactor contaminated with radioactive particles. Fungus has also been discovered in other areas around the site where there is a concentration of radionuclides. Many people left the area, and now scientists have returned to the area with the fascination of how many colonies of fungi have taken residence. Fungi are heterotrophic, meaning that they don't use photosynthesis to get their nutrients. Instead, they attach to living or dead organisms, like the fungi in a log, and use enzymes to break down carbohydrates, sugars, and proteins. The scientists Arturo Casadevall and Ekaterina Dadachova, after thorough observation, found out that all the fungi were dark in color. It was because that the radiotrophic fungi contained the melanin polymer, and they were using it to break down the ionizing radiation and turn it into energy. This differs from plants, which are autotrophs, that convert sunlight into energy using photosynthesis. They found that 3 fungi, Cladosporium sphaerospermum, Cryptococcus nephrimans, and Wangiella dermatitis, grow faster in the radiation's presence. Next slide, please. Radiotrophic fungi have been found in nature where the conditions are more extreme with increased exposure to cosmic radiation and solar radiation. The following are natural conditions in which radiotrophic fungi have been found. Radiotrophic fungi have been found in the Arctic and Antarctica, where there are higher levels of cosmic radiation. In Israel, there is a mountainous slope that receives a significant amount of solar radiation where Asparagus niger was found containing 3 times more melanin than a comparable species growing on the opposite slope. I will now pass it to my partner, Brother Noah.
Thank you kindly, Miss Shaddai. Today I'll be talking about frogs and melanin's radioadvantageous property. What was the research about? So, in a study done by 2 scientists, German Orizaola and Pablo Burraco, on the Hyla orientalis, also known as the eastern tree frog, found in and near the area of the Chernobyl where the Chernobyl accident occurred. This study was done because while the frogs are usually green on the dorsal part of the skin, the top half, there is also a highly melanated version of itself. This version isn't there because of the radiation. In fact, the highly melanated version has been there even before the accident. Now, in the present day, the highly melanated group, which was much smaller pre-Chernobyl, is now the dominant group. It is theorized to be due to the high concentration of melanin in this group. It was able to absorb and transform the gamma radiation into chemical energy for the frogs to use. This was also theorized that melanin helped to protect the offspring as well as the adults in the breeding process. What are my discoveries? What I discovered, and partially what I theorized, is that this research can effectively, through this research, melanin can effectively help animals' body function in highly radiated areas, even help these very animals thrive in the contaminated area. With this discovery, I have hypothesized due to being closer to high amounts of UV radiation, also known as ultraviolet, found in and near the equator, Africans developed a higher amount of radiation, a high amount of melanin to deal with the UV rays. What do I hope for Africans to take away from this? I hope that Africans will feel less uncomfortable in their skin and know that they are being protected even when they're not actively trying to protect themselves with their body. I hope that we are left scared of treatments that have radiation incorporated in them, knowing that our bodies can help convert some of this energy with added melanin from plants into something beneficial for our body. When I mention radiation treatments, I would like to clarify that I don't fully believe that they're safe for us because of the presence of our melanin. I do believe that we'd be better off with these treatments if we had a healthier lifestyle along to benefit melanin. Now I'll be passing this back over to Sister Novena.
Thank you, Noah. Sunscreen's relation to melanin. Many manufacturers that make sunscreen use melanin in their sunscreens to attempt to mimic melanin's role as an energy transformer in the skin. There was an experiment done in 2011 which shows why the manufacturers use melanin. This experiment was done by Huang and other scientists, which I will refer to as et al., relating to the sun protection factor scale, also known as SPF, which is a scale that shows sunscreen's protective capacity. It is believed that the higher the scale is, the better the sunscreen's protective capacity is. Huang et al. Demonstrated that the SPF value of gel formulations increased with the addition of melanin extracts from the cinnamon and sweet Artemis berry, and this melanin from the plants can also be known as allomelanin. Next slide, please. In conclusion, melanin as an energy transformer does convert radiation into chemical energy for the organism it is in, and organisms such as fungi and animal kingdom have used this to adapt to their environment, and humans have used this indirectly such as with sunscreen, and we as people have also used this throughout our lives, whether it was, for example, converting UV rays from the sun into chemical energy, which is beneficial to our body. Next slide, please. Here are our sources. Next slide, please. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.